ensure that they put on appropriate PPEs and are under armored escort. It says, except for strict compliance, treat urgent. By this directive, Garu can also be dangerous, so all should take note and comply. Regards.
Well, Maxwell, we're also learning that a scheduled press conference by the police service has been called off.
Exactly. A scheduled press conference this morning was called off sometime around 9 a.m. just at the time when it was scheduled to begin. But we do not have clarity on what is the purpose of this press conference and why it was cancelled.
Right. Thank you so much, Maxwell Agbagba. Well, let's get an update from correspondent Albert Sorry on the situation there. Albert, bring us to speed about the situation on ground.
Honestly, things are still very calm at the moment. This morning, we haven't witnessed any disturbances, but I did notice an unusual number of security personnel heading towards Bawku from the capital, Bolgatanga. I mean, this is not something we see often, but it appears that we are seeing more security being deployed to the area. But I can tell you that for now, we haven't heard of any disturbances in the last 24 hours or so.
Right. Describe to us, are they complying with the instructions by the IGP?
Yes. On Friday, when the IGP was here, he personally even told some of the men that he visited at the Bawku police station some of the things that we have seen in the wireless message. His message to them was that they should make sure they are always protected. They should never go into town without the vehicles that are assigned to do to take them to town, and they should make sure that they always move in groups. So this is not surprising.
Right. But has this changed the situation? I mean, the security atmosphere in Bawku?
Can you ask the question again?
Yes. I'm trying to understand whether this improved security regime is, changing how people are viewing the police in Bawku.
I said yesterday there were people, even some security officials that we spoke to, who were feeling that they were beginning to become targets, and civilians also feel that the insecurity situation is heightening. So yes, these fears are there, but you get the sense that the security are still determined to do their work under the circumstances.
All right, thank you so much, Albert Sorry there, who is our correspondent, giving us updates on the situation in Bawku. Well, security analyst Dr. Victor Doke says the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee should be actively engaged to bring peace to the area by liaising with other peace-focused groups like the National Peace Council.
The local grassroots committee, the Bawku Inter-Ethnic Peace Committee there. In these times like this, the place is volatile. So this is the only institution that you have that can work, comprising of all members. You have a local NGO there, the Bele Musa Development Agency. Then you can have the National Peace Council giving oversight to this NGO, who is a peace building facilitator for the committee. And the committee will now liaise with all ethnic groups there. I think this is doable. But whether the committee is working as of now or not, we don't know. Then we need to reform the committee, resource them, for them to be engaging with the community members. You can start with that one, and by and large, you get the results. Now, to build trust, I think I've said it time again that the stakeholders in there should be very wary of the activities and events. The military or security forces are not mediators. I agree largely to that extent. Now, in the event of situations such as this, you'll be tempted to sort of like implement activities to sort of bring the youth together for coexistence. So you organize football matches, you organize whatever cleanups and all of that. I think now they should desist on that, because then any argument on that line will bring what clashes. Right. Going forward, have we even thought about how we can use the women as peace building approaches? Right. It is one area that stakeholders need to look at.
And you heard that Dr. Victor Doke, security analyst on desk earlier. Well, while West MP and Vice Chairperson of the Defense and Interior Committee, Peter Lanchini Tobo, has made a strong call for the Bawku conflict to be treated as a national crisis, he emphasized the need for a more sophisticated, strategic and impartial approach to peacekeeping and resolution. Speaking on Joy News' PM Express last night, the retired police officer expressed deep concern over the spiraling violence in the area.
Let me first of all convey my deepest condolences to the Greek families and same to the Ghana Police Service, having lost some men in the field. But I want to encourage the men and women in uniform. In a situation like this where it has become violent, professional hazards are expected. And that is why standard operating procedures are always strictly enforced to ensure that the buddy system is applied in your movement. You don't go anywhere into town alone. And you don't go into town when you are not in uniform. And you don't go into town when you are not permitted by your command. It is restrictive because it has become a red zone. The risk is high. And when the risk is higher, people in uniform must be extremely careful, very particularly when you position yourself as an impartial person in the middle, not a neutral person. I always expect the police not to be neutral. The police should not be neutral in Bawku. They should be impartial. Simply put, you are not a friend to any of the feuding parties. You are interested in them coming together and living peacefully. So if A does it wrong, say it so. If B does it wrong, say it so. There shouldn't be a point where the impartial arbiter, the person who is in the middle to create a buffer to bring peace, becomes a party to the matter and is being attacked. That's very, very dangerous.
Well, the ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Reverend John Intim-Fojo, says the conflict now bears the dangerous dimension of open hostility towards state authority, which must be checked immediately. He spoke on PM Express as well.
The death toll is rising. People are living in fear. Children can't go to school. There's no essential services that are thriving at the moment. Teachers are refusing posting to Bawku. Nurses are refusing posting to Bawku. Doctors are refusing posting to Bawku. Essential services are crippling. And this really die for our humanitarian efforts. What the minority is calling for is calm. But more importantly, what we are saying is that Bawku deserves peace. And for peace to prevail, we want all feuding parties to exercise absolute restraint. We're also seeing a worrying trend where now the new dimension of conflict seems to be taking is between one of the feuding factions and the security services. And so it seems like some reprisals between the youth on one side and the police. And that is very dangerous because the security is there to ensure the protection of our citizens. And so, if the dimension of the conflict now extending beyond, tribal conflicts into clashes between security agencies and, the citizens that they are there to protect, that can also be very dangerous.
Anyway, the ranking member on Parliament's Defence and Interior Committee, Reverend John Intim-Fojo, on the Bawku situation. Moving away from Bawku, Minister for Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua, has reiterated a stern warning to potential miners, emphasizing that engaging in mining activities within forest reserves and water bodies will be a deadly business. Speaking at the passing out ceremony of Blue Water Guards, the minister underscored government's commitment to protecting the country's natural resources. Western Regional Correspondent Inathalia Kwanzaa reports.
The Blue Water Guard Initiative is a comprehensive program designed to combat illegal mining in water bodies. The initiative includes a one-month training program for water guards comprising both practical and theoretical exercises. The training aimed to equip the 453 water guards with the necessary skills and knowledge to detect and report illegal mining activities within and along water bodies and work with law enforcement agencies in intelligence gathering and enforcement actions. Minister of Lands and Natural Resources, Emmanuel Amakofibua, emphasized the importance of the Blue Water Guards initiative in combating illegal mining.
Remember, you have assigned a code of conduct, a binding commitment to professionalism and integrity. Any breach of this code, any compromise in your duties will attract stiffer sanctions. And please make sure you know that at all times. You are to exhibit the highest levels of integrity on a daily basis. The task before you is sacred. The future of our water bodies depends on your discipline and vigilance. As the Army has emphasized, going forward, any attempt to mine gold in our forest reserve and our water bodies will be a deadly business.
Deputy Minister of Defense Ernest Broja Jimfi urged the newly trained water guards to ensure their presence signal hope to the law-abiding citizens.
You are not just defenders of our water bodies, you are protectors of life itself. Our rivers and water bodies are the lifelines of our communities, our agriculture, and most importantly, our health. Let your presence on our water signal hope to all law-abiding citizens, and let it also be a firm warning to those who seek to destroy our natural heritage, illegal mining, and pollution.
For Joy News in Nathalia Kwanza, Western Region.
Reclamation work has begun at the illegal mining site in Impatesia Yao in Kwanta, located in the Trimamponia district of the Ashanti region, after 4 miners lost their lives there within a 4-month period. The most recent incident, which claimed 2 lives on April 1, has heightened public concern. In response, the regional NADMO has directed its district office to urgently cover the dangerous pit. Mahmoud Monuruddin has more on this report.
When the news team visited the site, work had already begun to reclaim the land with the aim of restoring it for agricultural purpose. Assembly member for Mpatasia Ahimbronom Salifu Karim says the decision to cover and reclaim the Galamsey site is aimed at preventing any further illegal mining activities.
This is where the Galamsey abandoned it that Galamsey did and left it, where the Galamseyers came and then they were digging to search for gold, and at the end of the day, the pit collapsed and killed 2 of them recently. And then the last 2 weeks also, some of them also came here and then they were doing the same job, and 2 of them also lost their life. Today we are here because of this incident that happened here. People around NADMO and then Mineral Commission, they came here and it was sanctioned that nobody should come here. So due to that, the elders of the community, the assembly member, and then the NADMO around Achumamponoa Assembly, we all sit down and then we come out with a solution that we will cover the pit so that nobody should come here and then lose his life again. So this is what we have done. We have covered the pit somehow, but we have not finished. We have covered the pit so that the dangerous area where if the Galamseyers came here, they will not able to get the hole and then go inside and then do their work. So we have covered the pit somehow so that it can prevent people from entering into the hole again and do their work.
The acting regional director of National Disaster Management Organization NADMO, Haj Mohammed Nasir Ibrahim, who was at the site with his team, says although part of the Galamsey site has been covered, more work needs to be done.
Eventually we agreed that the police should be, I gave directives that we should try and reclaim the land, and I think they have done a good job of it.
Meanwhile, the Ashanti Regional Office of the Ghana Water Company is justifying the recent upward adjustment in water tariff as it cites heavy cost of treating water impacted by illegal mining activities. The Public Utilities Regulatory Commission has announced a 4.02% increase on water tariffs for all categories of consumers effective May 1, 2025. Regional Manager of the Ghana Water Limited in Ashanti, Hansen Mensah Akote, explains the exorbitant cost of treatment and aging infrastructure are among reasons for the new adjustment. He's been speaking with David Akote on Love FM in Kumasi.
Irrespective of the quality of water, you must be able to provide the compliance requirements as the standard determines that you do. So that one to come with the costs, because we have to import chemicals from not within the country but externally, and require forex or foreign capital to do that importation. Currently, most of the resources or revenue that we get is just basically for operational and some field maintenance costs. our capital cost is difficult to actually pay for because the government has subsidized that portion in a sense that what happens is we are not able to charge realistic tariff for people to pay. Because if we want to do that, it means that seriously we have to increase the tariff beyond what the PRC gives us.
So is that to say that this 4.0, 5% is not enough? The adjustment, the increase.
The government has cushioned the consumers so much with a tariff increase to give us 4.0. Notwithstanding as well, if you look at the treatment process itself, because of the dynamics of the unit system that we have in treatment, in most cases, too, costs goes up. So the tariff regime of a system would depend on the condition availability at that time.
Meanwhile, Mr. Mensah Akote is charging government to intensify efforts to ward off illegal miners on the Ofen River.
Are you, as Ghana Water Company, discovering other sources of water where you can use as treatment for the people of Ashanti?
Yeah, we've done all those assessments. Unfortunately, the largest volume is coming from the Ofen River. The largest volume is coming. So the Ofen River is a savior for Ashanti. If we don't protect it and it goes off, it means that technical Americans will be down, the whole Ashanti as well is down.
What's the state of the Ofen River right now?
Currently, Ofen River has moved from what we call, if we do what we call the water quality index of the water, there's a scale for assessing the quality of the water in terms of the river health of the water. If you run those parameters, you realize that we have what we call very poor, good, and then maybe better, and then excellent. Our case lies within the good range in the middle portion, which means that it was at an excellent, very good point, but has dropped to good, indicating that the state of pollution there is increasingly going higher.
Mr. Mensah Hansen Akote is with the Ghana Water Company in the Ashanti region. You're still listening to the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. We'll take a break. We'll return with sports. And as corruption continues to thrive, despite legal efforts, some experts are seeking new and unconventional solutions.
Can we employ Nogopo and Antwanyama and other powerful traditional means, and that before you take office, you subscribe to that method?
Well, will that work?
The problem we have in Ghana is that there are no consequences for misbehavior.
Where did I? Now I don't know many just sir.
Obiang, what you chrome her? Ain't you want to say petrol software energizing dreams for motion? Hey boy. Petrosol are celebrating their 10 years in grand style. They're giving back to their loyal customers. Hope you have registered at their online portal. Don't say I didn't tell you.
Each month, customers will stand a chance of winning items like tricycles, motorcycles, television sets, refrigerators, phones, fuel vouchers, and many more. But the best part is that at the end of the promo, we will be giving out a grand prize of 2 Suzuki Espresso cars to lucky winners who stay with us all through the promo period. All you need to join is to visit any of our over 100 stations across the country to get registered, or go to www.petrosolcrm.com to register online.
Petrosol, energizing dreams.
When I wake up in the morning, I brush my teeth with Kale Charcoal toothpaste. This gives me confidence all day.
Anytime you meet Amma, don't be surprised I smile showing my beautiful white teeth because I don't have cavity thanks to Kale Charcoal toothpaste for its natural charcoal properties. In fact, we are like twins. I can't go without my Kale Charcoal toothpaste.
That be why I dey use Kale Charcoal toothpaste morning and night when I dey go bed safe. It dey make my teeth white when it dey comot every scent from my mouth inside. My confidence level they go up, so I dey show my 32 teeth all.
Introducing the Kale Charcoal toothpaste, formulated with activated bamboo charcoal powder, ensures whiter teeth and removes bad breath. The strong natural property of the activated bamboo charcoal removes bacteria, absorbs surface stains on our teeth caused by coffee, wines, and tobacco. Welcome, Kale Charcoal toothpaste. Kale Charcoal toothpaste, Sankofa Yenchi.
Kale, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
This is the Midday News. It's time now for sports.
Thank you very much, Maame. So Bournemouth are on the verge of qualifying for Europe for the first time in their history as they sit 8th in the English Premier League table. Their form has drawn huge admiration for their top performers, including Ghanaian forward Antoine Semenyo, who is on the radar of Manchester United, having scored 9 goals and provided 6 assists. Other players are also attracting interest. Transfer expert David Ornstein has more.
It's a major success story, but that also brings major interest in some of their players. We'll begin with Dean Huijsen. There's a £50 million release clause in his contract. Let's see what happens with Milos Kerkez. He's also attracting interest from clubs the size of Liverpool, Manchester City. And then there's Antoine Semenyo. What a season he has had. And a player that Manchester United, their manager, Ruben Amorim, is very fond of. Now, they would be looking to sell him for a fee of in excess of what they got for Dominic Solanke, which was £65 million, because there's no release clause. They would want a club record.
Yeah, so that's transfer expert David Ornstein with Athletic.
Thank you so much, Mubarak. Now, despite decades of destruction, little has changed in the Tamale timber market. The Fire Cycle series visits the burnt-out ruins of the market, interrogates the systemic failures and demands accountability from authorities. Martina Bugri reports.
The effect of the Tamale timber market fire is still lingering as some affected traders are still awaiting for support to rebuild their stores which were destroyed by the fire. This incident is part of a larger trend of fire disasters that has affected the region. Master Suli, a trader at the timber market, said since the fire outbreak, nothing has changed.
And then up to date, we couldn't hear anything from anybody. Our leaders, especially the politicians, nobody come to this market to visit and see what is happening.
Abdulrahman Adam is one of the affected. He said life has become unbearable for him and his family.
As at now, we are not able to even build our own. This is the place that I'm getting small to build or to feed my family. So up to now, they are not giving even our tools. I don't have tools to do work. I have to buy new tools, and then money is not there.
Another carpenter at the market, Ibrahim Mutokil, said it was difficult feeding his family whilst waiting to get back to work.
To feed our family was a problem. And even some of our machines, we couldn't propel it. Some are here. It is broken down. So lack of financial support.
It is not only the market that nothing has changed. The fire service mandated to tackle fire situations in the region said they are still grappling with over 8 fire tenders, shortage of water among others. Public Relations Officer of the service, Baba Hudu, speaks.
We would say that it has not changed in terms of logistics and other challenges that we face.
The service needs to be retooled to help address fire incidents.
The oldest vehicle we have in the system and in the region is 25 years. That tender or fire tender is 28 years.
Well, in a country worried by years of political scandal, embezzlement and backdoor deals, the law has become a paper tiger present but powerless. Anti-corruption agencies made headlines with promises, commissions set up and disbanded, and court cases dragged on with little consequence. However, as laws continue to fall short in the fight against corruption, the Secretary to the Constitutional Amendment Committee, Dr. Reina Akumperiga, has a solution. His proposal is simple, yet radical.
This year took the oath of office and then the oath of secrecy. And we took the oath by our various religious persuasions. I'm a Catholic, so I swore by the cross. And so if you're a traditionalist and you are assuming an office of this kind, you swear by whatever that, so that there's equality of treatment. Now, if there's supposed to be sanctions, can we employ Nogopo and other power Antwanyama and other powerful traditional means, and that before you take office you subscribe to that method, okay? Because if the problem is too big, then we have to probably look at answers outside of the traditional means of resolving our problems. You know, in the public domain, this has been thrown around, it's been suggested that we are more fearful of the consequences of traditional means of stewardship than the court system or committee of discipline committees and all of that. What's your thinking on this?
Interesting there. But former Auditor General Daniel Domlevel wants the system to work to discourage corruption.
But I don't believe that that is what we need to do. Because I've worked in other institutions like the World Bank, where we have people with different faith and people who don't even believe in God. But I can say largely they are not corrupt. Because the system will not allow you. The problem we have in Ghana is that there are no consequences for misbehavior. I don't think it's because of religious background or an oath we did not subscribe to. Until Friday, when I returned from Germany, I was driving a colleague's vehicle in Germany. And I looked for the road signs religiously because I know the consequences of going contrary to rate. But when I was coming this morning, it just occurred to me that I'm no more looking for the road signs because there are no consequences here. So if we want especially corruption to be unattractive, we must push it to a limit where it doesn't matter who you are. Once we found you in that corner, we are going to deal with you.
And that is a former Auditor General, Daniel Domlevel. Now it's a good time to do what's trending, and having with me in the studio, Derek Ashilevi of Talk No They Cook Rice. Derek, you think Antoine Nyama can prevent corruption in this country?
I mean, who knows? I mean, people believe that. He's got
Antoine
some
Nyama is scared of Ghana's corruption.
Really?
I know,
because
right?
what we do is quite different.
But what's trending just
of
before
course,
we head out?
The first in the trend is Obede, the landlord, Sarkodie. He dropped a refix to Black Sheriff's Wedding Boys. And in it, he threw a jab to Twitter agenda boys, the guys who come for you when you say something bad. And there's a line that goes that they talk trash behind me, but when they meet me, they fold up like Kankevi. And of course, it got people talking, and it's making the headlines on Twitter. The second trend we might want to look at is the fact that Arsenal is meeting Real Madrid tomorrow for the second leg of the Champions League. Yeah.
I have a feeling Arsenal will lose, but
really, I mean, let's see what.
Please don't come at me. I beg you.
And what makes the match a very special one is the fact that Arsenal is already leading with 3 goals.
Okay.
And everybody is wondering if the Bernabeu, which is known to be the arena of miracles, can salvage Madrid. For the first time, are they going to make it, or are they going to come out?
We'll live to see, don't we? Thank you so much, Derek. And that's it for Trends and the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. Coming up next is Pastor Mensa Otobel with Living Word.